you doing today?
I wasn't about to ask that at all.
Okay, let me look at my own summary of what I wrote about it.
We need to uh reconcile the mop. That's what must be done.
Is that the first thing that we start with then? Yeah, let's get that out of the way.
Um
That needs to
do
be...
you want to start with that? Because that is what we started with last time. We started
Last
with the
time we
forging of the
started with
mop.
them. Yeah. And what did we end on, though? We ended with them heading towards the...
Oh, right. We ended with the crew and the specialists and Milo entering the outside and witnessing a large dust cloud formed in the wake of a mob in the direction of the tomb.
Because one of them had solved... One of the groups had at least solved one clue, right? Because I remember making references to... the Lost Ark with the shadows and whatnot. So I feel like a first phase was passed and like directions were being taken.
Well, these guys have a map that will kind of direct them to the tomb. I don't know if we actually resolved how the alphabetical order knows where it is.
I need to make notes for myself to make sure I know, keeping track of who's on what side, because
Who's on
the
first?
the chrono order is... would we say that one is good and one is bad?
One is benign and one is bad.
I'm going to do this in Sheets rather than Docs. Sheets is so much better. Cells are better for everything.
I hate cells.
Why?
I wish I wasn't even made of cells.
Oh, those cells.
I hate all cells of all kinds.
But I mean, I like the spreadsheets because you can do pages and ordering is so much better than in Docs. Okay, so this is the chrono order. Chrono, and this is alpha. And which side is the crew?
The crew
Chrono
is
was picked
on
up
the
by the
chronological order.
chrono. Right. Okay,
They're
crew.
with Milo, who is one of the chronological order's scholars of ancient legends and stuff.
Right. I'll say crew and Milo. And on
And
the
their team
alpha
of
side,
specialists.
that... right, the Atlantis similar,
Yeah,
the
a little
did
French
we
mole
ever
man.
come up with an allegory at some point for like Blackwater? Didn't we have a... was that related to
Oh, we did once have an
anti-imperialism?
allegory for Blackwater.
I think that
I
would have been in anti-imperialism.
I think they might have shown up for that, but they definitely showed up during one of our showdowns with the male cops.
Okay. That's what we
During
should have just
during
called
one
them
of our
Brownwater.
that's disgusting. During one of our showdowns where we were trying to get some kind of MacGuffin, it was one of our bigger episodes because we were dealing with the not child assassins and the male cops.
What did that... was that when we were doing like the movie plot or whatever?
It was one of our sort of movie-ish plots, but we were trying to evade a whole bunch of different special interest groups that were trying to get us.
Right. Okay, so
And
on the
the
alpha
guys who are
side,
now going to be called Brownwater forever, they were there. They're Brownwater now.
they're Brownwater no matter what. That's just what they're called, because whatever it was wasn't as good before.
No, it'd never be as good as Brownwater. God, that's awful. Is it rust? Is it waste? Why is it brown? Is it
Who
just
knows?
dirt?
It's
Ugh.
not a good... it's not a good color for water to be.
No, it's not a good look at all. It tastes tinny.
On the alpha side, so I feel we still had Tucker and Todd wandering around, and the alpha order had contract whatever, our doppelgangers to go and hunt down the MacGuffin, right?
Yes, they had the original Tucker and Todd. They had us for a little while, and we managed to annoy the shit out of them, like Ace Ventura style. We were making shadow puppets
We were
on the
making our
walls during their
buttholes
presentations
talk.
and stuff. Yeah, we were making total asses of ourselves, and otherwise gumming up the works, making the operation even less efficient than it already is. So eventually, they kicked us out, and they're like, "Don't worry, don't worry." We have a solution because I guess they need Tucker and Todd, or at least figures that look like them, to complete some kind of prophecy to enter the tomb. They've got a tablet or something that's got images of characters that look like us, but they don't need to realize they've got our doppelgangers.
So is that what we should pick up with then, or should we try to finish off the WAP?
I think I think we had a pretty good idea for now that we've built it up so much. I think a totally anticlimactic ending for it would be hilarious.
Okay, so like, did you like the Gundam thing?
Tell me about the Gundam thing.
Or I guess like it's more Power Ranger. It's a bunch of references of things that I've never seen, but I understand the reference. Whether it's
Like the
Captain Planet,
Megazord?
Voltron, Megazord, whatever. Yeah. So as one of the bounty hunter ghosts holds the mop and bucket in its hands, it starts absorbing all of the other ghosts into itself, and they all grow, grow,
Oh,
grow, 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 grow into a giant thing that can just
this
walk up
isn't
to the.
this is an opportunity to reuse a Stay Puffed Marshmallow Man.
Oh yeah, he shows up briefly, or
Instead
he
of
turns into
marshmallows,
that thing.
I guess he's like a series of sectional rolls of paper towel.
How
But
I'm
I
trying to
like
figure out
that.
what
I
the
like
joke of
that
that
though.
would be.
The mop needs to be presented to the there are those who dwell under the mountain, and that's where they go into just it's just like a cave in New Jersey somewhere. And
Yeah,
cuz why not? And that's they bring the mop and they present it. They're like, "We command you now," and all that shit. And they're like, "Yeah, okay." Like these guys are way more agreeable than the spooky ghosts that Aragorn had to deal with.
yeah,
There's
not
these
as
guys are like,
aggro.
you don't have them up, and they're like, yes, we do. And like, oh, all right, we're in.
Oh, actually, maybe we make a joke with that,
Huh? I thought that would be harder.
and then one of the ghosts says he's one ply.
Fucking 10-ply, bro, is super soft.
Yeah,
Okay, so the mop serves as like a focal point around which all the guy wielding it manages to absorb all the other ghosts, and now they have a super ghost. They have a Megazord Voltron ghost.
and the mop and the bucket have both become super huge in their Voltron hands, and then they just
Yeah,
use that mop and bucket to sweep up the WAP. It's just done. It's in the bucket. It's gone.
yeah, it just shows up. There's the WAP terrorizing a city, and then it's just like holds the bucket, and then just kind of like sweeps it into the
the
bucket.
The music gets extremely intense, like it becomes like action movie intense, and then as soon as it's in the bucket, it sort of just sort of like peters out and off key.
Yeah, suddenly it's being played by the recorder.
Yeah,
The sweep into the bucket needs to be done in super slow motion, of course, with
oh,
like
of course.
reverb and everything. And then it gets packed into the bucket, and then the giant Megazord thing leaves, and that's the opportunity for Columbo and Bridges to drive up in Columbo's shitty old Lincoln or whatever it was, and they're like, "Oh, what?"
That's how that goes.
they've, they've got like all kinds of supplies in the back seat, like a bunch of like rocket launchers and stuff.
I like they got like the bandoliers of bullets around their chests.
Yeah, they've had their full like behind the scenes. They've had their total action movie hero arming sequence, like you see in Terminator 2,
Yeah.
and they're like, "What? What?" Then it's just that's the WAP is gone, and these guys are just kind of left with their thumbs up their asses, looking like idiots.
Now that's what I get calling left high and dry.
How'd you get in here, Stan?
Stan's just like tucked in the glove compartment of the car.
He would be.
He's in there. He's got one of his nudie mags.
Yeah, he just the glove compartment opens up and there he is. Now that's what I call getting left high and dry. And there, yeah, he's hanging out holding one of his nudie mags, and then that's the opportunity for Bridges to kind of kick the glove box shut. He's like, "Oh!" And then I guess we could use that as a smash cut to the outside where Stan actually is, and he suddenly falls over.
That's funny. What do you call it? A voodoo stand.
Yeah, kinda. He falls right out of Straight Woman's arms onto the ground. He's like, "What the hell? Who hit me?" Turns out all this time, Stan has been incredibly anomalous.
Okay, and where are they at? I'm trying to remember. So they were on their way.
They're following the dust cloud left in the wake of the rampage being led by our doppelgangers.
Okay, what was that about? There was a rampage. How did that start?
They basic the doubles are basically using the natural sort of chaos of the outside to cause a big rabble riot. They're
Oh, I
going from
remember the Rebel
settlement
Ride.
they're going from settlement to settlement on their way towards the tomb and kind of just like collecting a riot. It's leaving destruction in its wake. Everything is kind of in a state of upset, so it's really easy to drive people into a frenzied mob. And they're marching that mob all the way towards the capital. I mean, all the way towards the tomb.
The tomb, and then so I think that we're going to join the crew and Milo and the specialist then. Yeah, that's what we've done. We've segued over to them and Stan. I do just want to check in. Where are Tucker and Todd? Were they once again heading away from the dust cloud? I can't remember. I feel like that was a joke we
When
made.
we last saw Tucker and Todd, they were actually having a quiet moment together in a coffee shop with nothing crazy happening at all, and they were just like sipping their brew and thinking, "This is nice."
Yeah.
Because they never get moments like that.
Was that I can't remember where was that cafe in the outside or in the real world, or was it like the
Oh
cafe at the
yeah,
edge of the universe or something?
they're still in the outside. I think that was the cafe at the Big Rock
Okay.
because it's the one landmark that's really consistent there, so they can always find their way back to it.
The Hard Rock Cafe.
Yeah, only this one is the Big Rock,
The
and
Big
even
Rock
these
Cafe.
idiots can't screw it up. So yeah, they were totally not in the action, but they were having probably a well deserved just opportunity to not be involved in crazy stuff. It won't last, but that's where they last were seen.
Well, since we're doing a whole bunch of like expediting, expediting.
Expediting. Yep, I
Um,
think we killed the WAP in 5 minutes.
yeah. Do Tucker and Todd just suddenly get outside, warped into whatever vehicle that or wherever the crew is? They just get warped into the midst of the crew.
Oh, I think this is the opportunity to do that sneeze fart you always wanted to do.
The sneeze fart. Oh, from the beginning, the sneeze fart
Yeah,
lady.
yeah. I think one of the boys can do that, and then they both just like finger snap, wind up in that new position.
Okay, so is it that, or are we saving them? We've managed to keep them spread apart for so long. Are we keeping it so that in the last, like one of the last crescendo or what, maybe denouement, whatever? I never actually studied hard enough to figure out the difference. The rising action or whatever.
I'm pretty sure the denouement is what comes after the climax.
Oh, does the denouement come after the climax?
I think so. I think that's when things are resolved.
Right, rising action, climax, then denouement. That makes
Yeah.
sense.
I kind of have a plan for them now that I
Oh,
think
do
about it.
you?
I
I had
just
let me
Yeah,
may I
lay
get
it
out
on me.
my words, and then if you have a better idea, let me know.
Yeah, come on, hit me.
Um, the doppelgangers and the crew end up in a showdown at the final site of where the actual MacGuffin is, and Tucker and Todd are the ones that show up as the Deus Ex Machina to like save the day. At the last moment, because I don't know if they've ever actually saved the day before.
Yeah, that was kind of my plan. I just had kind of an idea as to how they would do that.
Okay.
I agree that since we've kept them apart so long, it would actually be kind of silly to just have them pop right back into the hands of the crew, especially because that would defeat a lot of the crew's purpose in continuing their quest.
Yeah, definitely.
Because a lot of the reason that they're back here is to get Tucker and Todd. So if they were to get them, they'd
They
be
can
like,
just go home
okay,
now.
yeah, I guess we're done here, Milo. Bye.
Yeah. We'll call
So
that a draw.
yeah. So yes, I think it would be better if they show up in the nick of time, but not a moment earlier. But I think that since I've been kind of playing around with the idea that Tucker and Todd are essential, integral to some kind of prophecy to correctly opening the tomb or otherwise accessing some special Temple of Doom chamber within it where the MacGuffin that they need is.
Right.
And the alphabetical order is operating under the assumption that the doppelgangers can open it instead of us. I
Yeah.
was thinking that it would turn out that that would not be the case, and that the showdown would be them, all of them, kind of reaching this big gate or this door or whatever leads to where they need to go, all kind of at the same time and trying to otherwise stymie each other, and then that's the opportunity for Tucker and Todd to kind of wander in and open the door.
Oh, while everybody's arguing that with their backs turned or whatever.
Yeah, everybody's so busy trying to stop each other, and then our boys just kind of walk in and do what they do. They just kind of accidentally magoo their way into the door.
They're literally tripping over themselves.
Yeah, everybody's currently busy fighting in like a cartoon punching, kicking dust cloud, and then yeah, the boys come in and the great big stone door opens up because somebody correctly put the dragon claw thing in it. Skyrim reference.
Yeah. Whale, owl, or hawk. What is that? Hawk, fish, or whatever. A snake. Those are the three. Yeah.
Yeah, was it only three or were there more? I remember there being an owl for sure.
Yeah, I think they depended because there was like 4 or 5 different claws. I don't know that game.
Oh, there were a lot of claws.
Yeah.
And they all looked really valuable. I never wanted to lose them.
And I forgot how they worked every time until like the nth one.
Oh,
Oh
yeah.
right. Oh right. I could
You're
just
like,
look
"Oh,
at the claw.
I have to." I'm like, "I can't figure oh, I have to turn the claw around."
Yeah, and I
I
can look
can
at it.
I can zoom in on it a little. Oh, right. It comes with its own instructions.
Yeah. Like a copy of Echo the Dolphin. No, I mean unlike a copy of Echo the Dolphin.
Ooh. I also like that if you hit the wrong combination, the door would try to kill you.
Yeah, sometimes. Pew, 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 pew,
It
pew,
has
pew.
an unlimited supply of those poison darts.
Okay, is that what we're gonna do then? We have a stone door, and then we have Tucker and Todd like stumbled upon some sort of like, oh, is it a monkey paw? They have a monkey paw, and they trip and cram the monkey paw into the crevice or whatever.
Yeah, and it only works when they do it.
Yeah.
Only Tucker and Todd can get in there. They've somehow got the weird combined essence of the outside and real space in them.
Oh, are we doing a Mjolnir worthy thing?
Yeah.
So is
Only
it?
they're definitely not worthy. They're just lucky.
So is it more of a case did the oh, because I guess that's sort of a hat on a hat, a MacGuffin on a MacGuffin. So forget a claw to open the thing. It's a push switch, but nobody can get the push switch to work
Yeah,
except for Tucker and Todd.
it's like a hand scanner, and both Tucker and Todd have to touch it at the same time. They both kind of like trip into it.
Do they trip into
Whoops.
it, or they're like looking for it? They lean on it lackadaisically as they're like looking around. Oh,
Oh, I like that. Just kind of lean against it. They're like, huh.
huh, yeah,
And then it starts getting pushed in. They're like, what the fuck? Fall down. Door opens. Huh. Maybe it should be one of those situations where the door opens just long enough for them to fall in and then closes behind them.
and yeah, it just slurps them in. Oh,
Yeah,
and
because they're
the sound of the doors slamming closed is what draws the fighting people's attention.
yeah, probably an unnecessary reverb effect on it closing.
They didn't even notice that Tucker and Todd were there.
Yeah, they were really preoccupied.
Is
But
that enough of oh, sorry, go ahead.
that
Oh,
is
that's way in the future.
that is a little bit in the future. What we do have to kind of detail, probably not for long, but a little bit, is how the roving riot gang, how they get to the tomb, and how I mean the crew can just follow the dust cloud from a short distance; they won't get lost. But how do the crew and this riot gang reconcile when they meet? Because if we're gonna have the crew and then like the doppelgangers wind up inside the tomb close to where the chamber is, the central chamber, somehow that riot gang needs to either be overcome or dispersed.
Yeah.
And I think the specialists should do it.
Oh, interesting. I did just need to check in. So, was there a specific motivation? What got the doppelgangers pointed in? Were they headed in a right direction, or were they guessing? Did they have a motivation for causing chaos, or was it just something they were doing as they went?
Couple of reasons, uh, especially because that was more than one question.
All right.
The alphabetical order knows where the tomb is because the alphabetical order just lives in the outside for the most part and just happens to be aware of these things.
Right.
The
So they pointed them
doppelgangers,
in that direction.
yeah, just kind of vague directions. They're drawn to it. The
Right.
doppelgangers want the alphabetical order to succeed because they're outsiders.
Mm-hmm.
They want the outside to kind of be supreme.
Okay.
It's in their best interests. They're probably not loyal to the alphabetical order, but their interests align enough.
They're opportunists.
Yeah, they're evil us.
Yeah,
We are accidentalists. They are opportunists.
I like that.
Yeah, I don't know what accidentalists mean. I made it up, but we get where we're going and we get what we want purely by accident.
It's a guy who does oral surgery with a hatchet.
That sounds like a lawsuit.
Oh, sorry, that's an accidentalist. No, an accidentist, I guess.
I like dentalist better.
A dentalist, an
I,
accidentalist.
I'm an accidentalist.
Like
What?
Steve Martin from Little Shop of Horrors.
Yeah. Feed me, Seymour.
Okay, so you were saying how do you were saying the specialists disperse the crowd,
Yeah,
eliminate the
they
crowd?
I think they either eliminate the crowd or they occupy the crowd sufficiently so that the crew and the doppelgangers, the people who are actually significant to this plot, manage to get inside.
They occupy the crowd? Oh, as in like preoccupy the crowd.
Keep them
They,
busy.
okay,
Keep them occupied.
right.
So it's the elven army and the dwarven army meet outside the gates.
Oh, okay.
It's one of those.
Okay, I guess that would make sense, right?
Yeah, and so the specialists, each one individually, capable, so they're not as numerically advantaged as the mob is, but they're also kind of disciplined and trained, unlike the
Sure.
mob who are just like cabbage farmers.
They all look like characters from what's that Xbox game where they're all chunky, big, bulky guys? I can't. Gears of War, is that what it's called?
Oh, yeah, Gears of War. That's what the specialists all look like. They're all just
Yes.
like they look at positively monstrous and have way too many leather straps.
Yeah. They've got these giant Gatling gun things.
Yeah, they're all just gargantuan hulking men. They've all got
I don't know why that's so funny to me.
massive jawlines, and they're all in fact, that's all that their clothes consist entirely of too many leather straps.
It's
Because
just one of those straps. They're like strap mummies.
that's what the gear in Gears of War looks like. It's just like way too many leather straps.
Just really intense haircuts.
Yeah, and
Very angular.
they all have an underbite and really big square jaws.
Yeah.
And weird proportions. They're all barrel chested and barrel
The most
armed.
barrel chested, yeah.
Yeah, they're just huge. Okay, yeah. So we've got I guess a pack of super soldiers, and then there's a mob, and I don't know. I guess maybe they have those chainsaw guns too. But anyways, it goes badly for the mob, but there's enough of them that
It's
everybody's
just a
keeping each other
slaughter.
busy. Yeah. Yeah, it's probably a really embarrassing defeat on the point of the mob people.
Do we do it as a interruption then? Do we have sort of like a serene or suspenseful, or let's say like something with like a slow drawn out note, and then it gets suddenly interrupted by the. Oh, do we have like a slow motion Braveheart kind of charge with a. And then that gets interrupted by the slaughter.
I was kind of thinking that we would have like a kind of a low dramatic sort of music as you see these two opposing forces kind of mustering on opposite sides of the field of battle.
Oh, so they do face down in like battlefield lines.
Yeah, and it's just like six specialists, just like six super guys, and then like a big horde of outside weirdos,
Oh,
cabbage
do we
farmers.
do we lean into it? The cabbage farmers. One of them is on like the horse at the front, giving the pep speech, the rousing speech before the charge.
Yes, I think that's funny, and there should at least one horse-drawn carriage that the carriage is a cabbage.
I got to admit for a second how much in the original days of World of Warcraft I wanted to lead a raid on a city and be the guy on the mount at the front yelling, "Brothers, today is the day." That was a fantasy that I held on to.
Well, I'm gonna ruin that fantasy because this guy's speech is gonna be cut off partway through by being chopped in half with a chainsaw, and then all the rest of the guys in the front line because these 6 hooligans with chainsaws just scream at the top of their lungs, just ah! Ah! They start just mowing through everybody. It's just an absolute massacre. And
I can't remember. I need to look up the music from Gears of War.
I can't remember any of it. I don't know if there was any music. I don't know if there was any color. I just remember everything being kind of like gray or shit colored, and then blood and screams.
I hope it's like metal.
I
This
think
is all pretty
I liked
symphonic.
those games, but I have virtually no memory of them.
I only played a bit of the first. I really didn't when they came out. I did not like the Xbox controller, and I did not like the over-the-shoulder third-person thing. It just didn't work for me.
I was okay with it. What I didn't like was how sticky the cover was.
Yeah.
Like how difficult it was to get in and then back out of cover. Like you had to.
Oh, I get what you mean. I thought you were talking about literally like on the case, the cover was sticky. And it's like that sounds like a your house thing.
That only happened once.
God
Anywho,
damn it, Tucker! Why are all these games so sticky?
they fell into the towel. You know the towel.
Guys, I'm all sticky.
I don't want to do it if it gets you all sticky or if it hurts. So the
Okay.
crew and the
Yeah.
doppelgangers are actually watching in gape-mouthed, wide-eyed horror as these two forces meet, and there's just I don't know, there's probably blood like flying everywhere, and there's just lots of screams, and they're like, you wanna go inside? Yeah, yeah. I'd
No, I like the
ugh.
idea of leaning into the extremity of the gore as like sheets of blood are hitting them, and then
Oh
they kind
yeah.
of like the carnage stops and they squeegee the blood down, and then there's another schlock schlock, another sheets of blood hit them.
Somebody gets hit with a severed foot.
Oh, like weird body parts, like a butt.
Somebody's forehead.
Yeah, it's like getting like egregious. They're like, okay, stop. One of them is like holding like the whole left side of a guy.
I think the top of somebody's head should fall on somebody else's head.
Oh, but it makes it makes the cartoon donk sound.
It's like a scalp he wears a hat, but it just sails through the air and lands on somebody's head.
Okay, gross. Yeah.
Oh god, it touched me. Yeah, that's how you get away with violence, is to lean into it so much that it becomes a cartoon.
I do like that. Yeah, that the scalp on top. They pull the scalp off, and the brain is still there. Like you scream as you pull the top of the head, and the brain is still there. You scream again.
Ah! Yeah. It's it still got something on you. Ah! We're getting out of here. Suddenly, they actually have to run into the tomb to escape the torrents of blood and viscera.
So the tomb they run into, this is like the treasure room, like the final room, the tomb room.
Well, no, they run into the front entrance of the tomb.
Oh,
It's a
right.
it's
This was outside the front, right?
this is our Indiana Jones kind of labyrinth. It's got traps and puzzles and shit.
Right. So
Booby
do
traps.
you
This is our
is
opportunity to bring back the booby traps.
right? Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Is this where we bring in the booby traps? This is where the booby traps are.
Yeah.
The ball pit of booby traps, the big rolling booby trap.
Oh yeah, I gotta have that. What there was a third one. I'm trying to remember what it was.
Yeah, I can't remember if they were like projectiles of some kind, poison tipped nipples or something.
I was I was thinking maybe there's a room that's just like a bit cold, and then they're all kind of sharp.
That's kind of funny. Like yeah, as like spikes or whatever. They have
Either that
to
or they're shooting, yeah, projectile poison at you. But then we're getting a little bit into the give me milk, mommy kind of thing.
oh, milk sand.
Milk sand.
Yeah, it's like quicksand, but it's milk. Is still booby related, kind of.
We're gonna bring in way too many fetishists with this.
Oh,
People
instead of
people
instead of
drowning
I'm getting weird now. I was gonna say instead of vines, there's umbilical cords, but they're not that related. I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. It's better than gargantuan pubic hair.
I can't remember. I guess I'll have to go back and listen to that episode again. I actually I literally was just listening to it, but I couldn't remember what the third one is now.
Because I know we designed 3 traps.
We would have had to have.
Well, that's the rule. It's got
Yeah.
to be 3. But we can figure that anytime. But this is the booby traps are here. This is Stan's opportunity to say that he wishes that Tucker and Todd were there. They would have loved this.
Tucker's always telling me he wish he could run from a boob. I remember that was part of it.
the giant rolling boob. Watch out for that booby trap. This is probably straight woman's opportunity to sneer.
I just wanted on the record that I disagree with all of this.
Yeah, I disapprove. Women are not objects.
Yeah. We're not saying women are objects. Boobs definitely are. Are you trying to tell me boobs are people too?
I don't know how to answer that. I'm already out of my depth because I can't speak for women.
Yeah, me neither. Well, since we can't speak for women, we speak for genitalia. Are boobs genitals? I guess not, eh?
Oh, they're a
They're not
secondary
sex or
sex characteristic.
yeah. Anyhow,
Yeah, and in this case, I am content to just kind of speak for a collection of adipose tissue. This one's trying to kill us.
is one still trying to kill us? We successfully get past all the booby traps, do we not?
The crew does. I'm going to assume that there's like a fork in a hallway somewhere, and that the doppelgangers go one way and the crew go another, because they're not going to be working together to get through some of these traps. And if they're going to be like trying to stymie each other as they do traps, there still won't be enough room for them in the hallways and stuff.
Do they have a riddle, and based on the answer that they think they have to the riddle, that determines which way they go, kind of thing?
Interesting. It sorts them into to sleeves and sleeveless.
Like there's a hint that it seems like it would suggest it go that way, but the hint, if you interpret the other way around, means go that way.
One of us always lies. One of us always tells the truth. Ugh. Is there a way for us to consistently ensure that the crew is all correctly sent off in the same direction? Or do they maybe take the test as one so that they're all one party instead of individually?
Yeah, that's why I figured they would all be taken as one. Like there's a clue, and everybody kind of receives it at the same time, and the doppelgangers think it means one, and the crew thinks it means another. Because the specialists are no longer with us, are they? But Milo is, and so Milo is the only one that would actually know the answer.
Yeah, Milo is with us. It's Milo is definitely the one who got the scalp on his head.
Yeah, of course. Oh yeah, he's who's that character from Saving Private Ryan? He ended up he was in Lost.
Oh shit.
Anyways, the translator in Saving Private Ryan who gets shit on the whole time because he's not actually a soldier. Like that's who this guy is for us.
That poor fella.
That poor fellow.
He's in the same amount of danger as everybody else.
Yeah.
Jerks.
I mean, it's hazing, but hazing is what it is. I don't want to forgive everybody the culture that was forced upon them.
Dicks.
You said something about truth that made me think of something that's been kind of stuck in my mind that I don't know if I need to discuss now, but I wanted to bring it up. I was on a trip once, and two of the people I was on the trip with had differing views on philosophy, even though they were obsessed with philosophy, and they were debating lying, and they got heated at one point because one of them felt strongly that it's never okay and never right to lie, and then the other one was taking the position that sometimes you have to lie because it benefits more people than not, or whatever. Is that something that we would like to play with someday, is the idea of like the power of lying, or the consequences of lying, or the ethics of lying?
Interesting. We could, but I can tell you already that the guy who proposed moderation is definitely right.
Yeah, I agree.
Like the Mr. Absolutist that's just unreasonable, unsustainable, and untenable.
Yeah, and Ms. Absolutist was quite passionately like disgruntled, was quite angry about
clearly he had been lied to one too many times.
Righteous about lying. Yeah.
Yeah, clearly had been lied to one too many times. So many times that she is now blind to just how incredibly effective lying can be at lots of things.
Lying's great. And I didn't help them. They asked me my opinion on it, and I said, I'm sorry, all of the greatest things that I have achieved in my life, I achieved by lying, so I've got nothing bad to say about it.
Oh, the truth is often overrated and boring. I mean, we are fiction writers.
Yeah.
If it weren't for lying, we wouldn't really.
We wouldn't be talking about nonfiction.
Yeah, lies can be
A sad moment
awesome.
of reflection.
Lies can be awesome, and lies can do a great deal of harm. Crazy. It's almost like It's almost like they're like everything else.
Yeah, true.
Use wisely.
Yeah, please lie responsibly.
Seriously, don't teach people never to lie. Teach them how to lie responsibly.
Yeah, that's yeah, absolutely. Teach them how to weigh situations. They teach us logic. Oof, they teach us logic in school. Why not teach ethical measurement?
Yeah, it was unfortunate that I didn't get to learn any moral mathematics until university when I actually took ethics.
Yeah.
Speaking of lies.
Oh, well, hang on. Do you guys hear that? That sounds like the ad bell.
Your ad.
Bring out
Your ad.
Hey, I think we've got an ad.
Yeah, hang on. I think we've got something right over here.
Ninepence. I'm not.
An ad.
What? Nothing. Here's your ninepence. I'm not
An
dead.
ad.
I don't want to go on the car. Oh, thanks very much. That's all. See you on Thursday. Right.
Welcome to the ad space.
Are we in the ad space? Do we have an ad?
Yeah, we have an ad for this week. We're doing the laxative for ghosts.
Oh my god. Oh, that's the dumbest idea I've ever heard. It's awesome.
Well, the idea was just specifically because it was a wordplay. So I don't know if see, this podcast is great. The whole thing that's amazing about it is we took that tip your waitress thing and turned it into Miranda having a whole backstory. And so I believe that we can do that with anything. And so this
Speaking
was
of which, she has a family now too.
yeah, of course she does. She has a missing sister or something like that. A missing cousin. I can't remember.
She has
what
a
it was.
missing sister, and actually, the plot involves meeting some of her family. Our straight detective goes to Miranda's home and interviews this missing sister's family.
Papa
The
Cow.
the sister still doesn't have a name. The character is called Miranda's sister.
That's
Lady
fine.
Cow.
My sister. Okay, but for our ad this week, it's Metamucil. Is that what we're calling it? Metamucil
To keep you para-regular.
regular. Yeah.
With all supernatural ingredients. I'm reading that now. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's very funny.
Beautiful.
But here's my thing. So, what is para-regular? Is that do ghosts want to be paranormal? Is this a social peer pressure?
Where do you think ectoplasm comes from?
From being pararegular. So is that what it is? You want to make sure
Yeah,
that you're
the ghosts need to excrete ectoplasm on a regular basis.
What's a regular basis? How often are you talking? Like, are we doing daily or weekly ectoplasm excretions?
I have no idea what the time scale is for a ghost.
Is it something you like they excrete and deposit, or is it something they secrete and it's like a layer of ectoplasm that covers like a dog's nose?
Oh no, I think they need to excrete it and just kind of leave it in inconspicuous places in the realm of the living.
Like on Randy Marsh.
Yeah.
Just think, oh, it's a spooky ghost.
There's a spooky pile of goo over here.
It was a ghost.
Disgusting.
That's disgusting.
Oh, I shouldn't have been drinking at that moment.
So ghosts want to be excreting ectoplasm. So the ad is for ghosts that aren't excreting it. Then are you not excreting ectoplasm? Is there a term for that?
we need a good pun for constipated.
Are you in plasmic?
Okay, that's a winner. Yeah, for a healthy ghost, or lack of a better word, quote, life cycle, they need to be kept regular. They need to excrete supernatural waste.
That's kind of funny. And so what
Implasmic.
happens? What happens? What are the symptoms of implasmism? Implasmic. Let me do some.
Implasmicity.
Well, the obvious choice is to go the ghostly version of what happens to people. You get all bloated and crampy. That's how hauntings begin. Is this ghost hasn't been able to properly
Oh.
excrete.
That's okay. So we open on a haunting.
It's a haunting, and it's instead of like hearing voices, you kind of hear like a stomach gurgling. Somebody's bloated and gassy.
But you
Like
just
you're-
So you hear a ghost wailing. Is it an old fashioned like a sheet, a hovering sheet, and it's holding its sore tummy?
Oh, 100%.
And a roll of toilet paper just kind of floating.
You could make the ghost have like a little bloated belly, like sheet, and then like a tiny bump, and they're holding it.
Cradling their little gas bump.
Yeah.
Yeah, it needs to visibly ripple and make that noise so that nobody confuses it with a pregnant ghost.
Yes.
Oh, does it do the little, like, I'm trying to think of tropes from these types of ads. Does it do we zoom it does the little gurgle, and then it does the cross section like X-ray of like a cyclone storm going on inside or whatever?
Hmm.
Yeah, I'm into that. What would a ghost's interior even look like? It's probably weird.
Oh yeah, I guess it would be, because it's not an old-fashioned tummy, I guess. Is it a
No,
haunted house inside? It's like a
Are
old. It's like
you
a.
feeling implasmic?
Are you feeling
Cobwebs?
plasmic? It looks inside. It's like an old attic with cobwebs.
Yeah.
But I think if you do a cross section, you should still kind of have the the old fashioned where you can see like the gastrointestinal tract. You see the mouth. You see like the blue dots going into the mouth representing the cure. They go down the esophagus and into the haunted attic, and then they do whatever their cartoon miracle cure does, and then suddenly ectoplasm.
Now, is it a drink for them? Like Metamucil, you can get what is it? Is it powder that you mix in a drink or something?
It is a powder that you mix into water.
Okay. So is it that, or is it going to be like a bar like that they eat?
Oh yeah, or should it be something kind of thematic? And also, actually, should their upset stomach version of the attic be kind of like a pristine, nice house? And then when you take the Metamucil, that's what makes it haunted. Like
So
that's what
the
creepifies it.
Metamucil creates a haunting
Well, the haunting in their belly.
instead of the haunting of the actual house. The spook is internalized.
Or they could be all haunty and cobwebby, and then like the reason ghosts are haunting everybody is because they're all implasmic.
They're trying to make the house look on the like they feel on the inside.
Yeah, which is shiny and clean.
If
I'm
they're
not sure. Maybe,
regular.
was that was that the wrong way to go with the imagery?
Is there a way to add a little bit of Ghostbusters punnery into the Metamucil?
Ghostbusters punnery.
I'm wondering now if this should be a ghost in a sheet or if it shouldn't be the Stay Puffed Marshmallow Man. He's a
The
bit
Stay Puft Marshmallow
round in
Man.
the
He's got an
belly.
upset tummy. Yeah, that's true.
Aw.
and then we can do the thing where he explodes and covers the entire city in marshmallow. Now he's
Well, that's
regular.
interesting.
Look at all that ectoplasm.
Well, now we've got a couple of crisscrossing things. So, like, there's the idea is that when a ghost stomach gets upset, that's what causes it to start haunting. So it wants to take it wants to take Metamucil to get pararegular so that it can. Wouldn't it want to? Yeah. Does it want to get back to its job of haunting?
No, it doesn't want to haunt. Ghosts haunt when something's gone wrong.
Okay.
That's sort of the overarching thematic interpretation of hauntings in general, and I'm okay with running with it because it's the cure that's the joke.
Oh, so this is where we do a little bit of it.
Go on.
If we are using the Stay Puft guy is terrorizing a city, and it's a bit of a you're not yourself when you're haunting.
When you're implasmic.
When you're plasmic. I think the line does have to be "Are you in plasmic?" That feels so Is it like a old fashioned black and white style ad then?
Oh, how old
But then it
fashioned do
would
we
have
want to do it? Oh,
well,
I think it should be in black and white while he's in plasmic, and then it can be in color as soon as he's feeling better.
perhaps.
I love that old chestnut.
Like flowers are blooming and so many good things are happening now that he's
Pararegular.
pararegular.
And the entire city is covered in ectoplasm.
Yeah.
I do like the idea of supernatural ingredients. What are some of the supernatural ingredients? Does it go into that?
I
Is
have
that part
nuked
of the advertising campaign? What
There's
ingredients you
gotta
know?
be. Mhm.
all supernatural ingredients. Like Eye of Newt, Wing of Bat, Witch's Brew.
Oh, what's one of the like herbs or funguses? Like deadly nightshade? Is that one of them?
Yeah.
Deadly Nightshade is
Nightshade.
one of them. There's Wolfsbane.
Oh, that's an important one. What's
There's
the
let's call it
monosyllabic one?
monosyllabic one.
It's not it's
Mm.
like I'm thinking grout, but it's not grout. Whatever.
There's a sprinkling of graveyard dust
Is
What
that a
about
thing?
a
for flavor.
yes for flavor? How about a witch's toe?
Yeah, it's got to be the big one.
Yeah.
Maybe that's a major selling point. We use the big toe
Now with which is big toes.
at no additional cost to you. Competing companies use the little toes to save money.
Well, I guess I'm trying to think of how once again specifically that kind of commercial would go. They would say what the supernatural ingredient is for. Like if you're gonna say what a vitamin enhances or what like health benefit it's for. So which pararegular benefit a witch's toe is for.
So I was looking at just like what is in Metamucil, and it's what is it? Psyllium fiber.
Yep.
So it made me think of like, okay, so there's just one ingredient, right? So we could do one ingredient for the ingredients, and you could say like now made with, I don't know, witch's husks. Because here's what it says: okay, Metamucil is the only leading brand made with psyllium fiber, a plant-based fiber that helps promote digestive health. So if you do something like, I don't know, it seems
A
paranormal
witch's
to
toe. A witch's
with
toe, the only supernatural ingredient that yeah.
there you go. That was my thought.
That's proven to improve ectoplasmic transference.
Mm-hmm.
And so what does the now that the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man has taken his Metamucil, what does now that he's not haunting anymore, that causes him to explode, but is that good? Is that what he wants? He wants to explode and cover a city in goo?
And then
When I mean he's defeated?
well, his haunting is defeated, but like he is actually just like much smaller now. So what he does is he sheds 95% of himself, which was just all bloated
Oh,
ectoplasm.
it's like the river spirit in Spirited Away.
Hmm.
Yeah.
The actual Stay Puft Man. So he's just a little marshmallow man, but when he's in haunting mode, he's a big crazy Michelin man.
Yeah.
Please have
Oh,
him
okay.
do like a tiny little after he like gets small and does the all like the ectoplasm stuff. You just see him and he like does like a little jump and he's got like a really high pitch like yeah, and then like runs away.
So he's the Pillsbury Doughboy now.
Yeah.
Somebody
No,
pokes him in the belly and
No,
Is he
no.
actually the Pillsbury Doughboy?
somebody pokes him in the belly and he's like, "Oh, whoa, whoa, not all the way better yet."
I just picture this like sweet little marshmallow like and like runs away.
Well, yeah,
now
he goes from being the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man to just being a single marshmallow.
Yeah.
I'm loving the idea that the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man is what the Pillsbury Doughboy turns into when you either poke him or don't poke him.
Somebody hits the wrong button. Oh no, it's happening again.
It's like a Gremlins thing. Like don't poke the Pillsbury Doughboy after midnight.
Does that mean the cycle begins anew?
I mean, I guess it would, but I don't know if that's what we're doing with this. So it got better. He turns into the little marshmallow man, and then he clicks his heels and he runs off into the forest.
I think he clicks his heels and then we see him having a vacation in the Bahamas.
Oh, and that's where it does like the final that's where it does the read of side effects.
Yeah, he's like opening up a Corona and putting the lime in it. And he's like, feels so much better to be pararegular. and then it's just like in quiet murmured wording and extra small text is like side effects may include, and then we can show something horrific happening.
What would be horrific for ghosts?
Accidentally sucking a young girl into a television,
Oh,
doing some weird
Well,
poltergeist stuff.
If that happens, you can take, what was that stuff that you could take a blue pill?
Oh yeah, you can
There's a
get
cure
yourself
for
right
that.
back out of there.
Yeah.
Made by the same company.
Do we have anything else for that ad? I think that's the whole product.
Ah,
is it a drink or a pill or a
Right.
cookie or what?
right. How does the ghost get it?
Potion.
Oh yeah, I
Ooh,
suppose
yeah,
it does. I
potion.
suppose it does have to be a potion, doesn't it? If it's gonna have a witch's big toe in it, it needs to be a brew. It's made in a cauldron.
Powdered witch's toe.
Yeah, it probably has to be made by the witch who donated the toe.
Mm.
What? And you just get it in a grocery store?
Check your local pharmacy. Oh, maybe it'll need to be a specialist pharmacy that sells,
Oh,
I have
yeah.
loot.
Check with your local enchantress.
Yeah.
The local what is it? The alchemist. What is it? Where does the alchemist? Not the menagerie. What's the word for that? The apothecary.
Yes, the local apothecary.
Just
Now,
picturing like a little area of like a little town full of like all these little paranormal creatures, and they're going in there.
Oh, actually, if we're gonna do it, the ad, I'm gonna do it like late '90s, early aught style, where it's the blue frame and it says "at these reputable apothecaries," and it lists a bunch of. With that gives us a chance to come with up goofy names for apothecaries.
yep,
Like
it needs to scroll bottom up.
Yeah,
like the chia seed commercials.
yeah, the chia would do that.
Chia.
I got a chia pet and it was trash.
Yeah, they're making a comeback.
That's because grass is becoming rarer and rarer. Now people keep it as a pet.
That's an interesting idea. A dystopian future in which chia pets are like invaluable, like priceless.
Oh,
Mm.
they're now, instead of worshiping their own lawns, people just keep chia pets.
Or is the last chia is like Children of Men.
The last chia pet ever?
Yeah.
That means there's no grass anywhere else.
Until the first living grass in decades is discovered.
Oh, so it's the Wall-E ending.
The Wall-E
Oh.
ending.
Yeah, they find plants. The
Do
first
they?
plant
I don't
discovered
remember.
in decades.
Yeah,
Centuries.
Eva is carrying the plant, doesn't she?
Yeah,
Mhm.
they're like Earth can sustain life again, a bit.
Do they deserve it though?
Well, these are not even the people who ruined Earth in the first place.
I guess there's that. Yeah.
They're benign now.
Okay. Thank you, Jess, for joining us. Thank you for letting us waste your time.
No, you didn't waste my time. It was fun. Thank you for having me. I'll talk to you guys later.
Thank
Yes,
you.
yeah.
Coming by.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Anyhow.
Anyhow,
where were we? Where did all that spin out?
we had been evading booby traps.
Right. And
it's going to turn out that which path we took was totally pointless because all paths still lead to that central chamber.
they're just like symmetrical looping paths that lead to the same spot.
Yeah, turns out they're identical.
So the next thing that happens then is that we just meet up at that same place. Is it a long drawn out Chekhov's alley thing?
I think it's an opportunity to cut in a bunch of footage of platforming sections from the game.
Or like platforming to a treasure room, like platforming in a similar environment?
They got a platform through the temple to get to the central chamber. It's not just traps, they also got to, navigate the place.
Yeah. So they navigate it 2D platformer style.
Yeah.
That's
Super handy that everything in here is narrow hallways.
Definitely easier to film.
Oh yeah. I mean, we do everything in 2D anyway.
Yeah. There's a part of me because it's so easy. Fuck, I just realized something.
What?
Well, I was going to say it's so much easier to film movement with the side scrolling side view 2D thing because the character has a rig connected to it so that the camera follows it at the same kind of distance no matter what. But I wonder if I can actually do that inside a 3D space, is rig a camera to the sprite
That
so
would
the
be
camera follows it.
2.5D, and that is probably something you can do.
I probably can, but then the problem is if it's always a fixed distance, then it's going through walls and shit, and that's just annoying. So, yeah, whatever.
That might
Um,
just require a little bit of transparency.
oh yeah, that's true. Stuff to play around with. They get to this final room. Is it the treasure room that they get to at the same time?
I'm gonna say that the treasure room is actually what's behind the door, the big fancy door that they can't get through. They're in
So
a
they
central sort of chamber.
Oh, is this the big fancy door that Tucker and Todd stumble their way through? We've caught up to the scenario from before.
Yes,
Okay.
this is the big central chamber, the heart of the temple, but the access to the treasure room that's past this room is they can't get in.
So it is kind of as they're going through their separate corridor. Maybe the crew shows up to that room first by themselves, and they take a look around, and they're like, "Man, I think we lost them." And the doppelgangers think again.
Oh, that's perfect. The more smug they are, the better.
Yeah.
Think again, and then it plays a musical note as they walk in like high school bullies.
Well, yeah, I was gonna say 90s playground bullies, but bullies.
Yep, Mean Girls.
I'm trying to remember the name of the bullies from Little Rascals. Spike and Woim, is that it?
Oh shit, that was Alfalfa, wasn't it? That had
Alfalfa
Alfalfa.
was the Butch and Woim are the bad guys.
He was one of the rascals.
Alfalfa is one of the rascals, yeah.
Yeah, that's the only thing I remember from that entire film is one person's name.
Oh, there's also Spanky and Buckwheat. I remember those ones.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I repressed the name Spanky, but now it's back.
I remember Spanky because I dress like Spanky.
Well, now Spanky's in my brain forever.
Spanky. Okay. So they show up at the same time and then immediately launch into like, okay, this is it. We've had enough of you. It's time to finish you off for good.
Do they fight first, or do they kind of you stay on your side and we'll stay on our side, and they try and open the door like without helping each other or without interacting? They try to open the door.
Oh, do we do it to play it comedy? It starts off as like a verbal sparring with straight women, like trying to really put them in their place, but then they're really disgusting and indignant back, and then that's when Milo like does a blood curdling scream and runs forward and punches one of them, and that starts the brawl.
You think Milo starts it? He's still all upset and jittered because he's got blood in his hair.
I thought that maybe this was like the final straw. Like that was the trauma that cracked him, but no, this is what like he finally has the stones to fight back or whatever. He's been pushed.
I think there should be a scene where they try to open the door first. Both with them.
Oh, I guess we have to have that, but I guess we had already kind of like discussed that, so I skipped over a little bit.
Well, first they'll try and do it apart from each other, but then they will actually try to work together a little bit because progress is progress, and they've been stuck in here for probably an hour with no effect.
It starts specifically to do as you were talking about the Mjolnir thing, like one tries and then here, look, it's easy, I'll do it, and then it doesn't work. Oh, what are you kidding? All you got to do is this, and then that doesn't work. Kind of like here,
exactly like that.
I can do it. Rolls up sleeves.
And then once everybody's kind of tried their own hand at it, including Milo, whom everybody actually thought would be able to do it, then they start trying to work on it together. And it's going to be in the, well, you did it wrong. Kind of, that's how they start getting at each other's throats again.
What does a woman know about getting it wrong? Or I guess of course a woman would know when they're getting it wrong.
What does a woman know about getting it wrong? Obviously, everything. So yes, it's not until they start working together that the cracks start to show and they start getting mad at each other, because once they're all working at it together, then they can start blaming each other.
And then the delirium sets in.
Yeah, now they've been at it for like, I don't know, 3 hours, and they're starting to get testy with each other. And then, yeah, somebody gets snippy, probably with straight women. And that's when Milo finally becomes enraged.
I like that. It gives him time to cool down and also time to get more irritated about something else.
Yeah, time to get mad all over again.
He starts screaming like Prince Lemon Grab. Is it Prince Lemon Grab? Duke Lemon Grab?
Oh, from what?
From Adventure Time. Prince Lemon Grab.
Oh,
Unacceptable.
unacceptable.
Yeah.
Yes, and then thus the fight begins, and that's probably our opportunity to use the dust cloud with the fists and the feet coming out of it to segue into another scene where we've got Tucker and Todd, the real ones.
Are we gonna show the sequence of like that?
That's Tucker and Todd's only line exchange in the noir
And
script
that's
at like a bar / nightclub, and they're just like briefly overheard as Straight Detective walks past them.
oh, that's funny.
Yeah, they're background characters in that one.
They're like hitting on women. That's what the end of that story is.
That's exactly how they got kicked out of this stupid cafe. Everything was going fine until Todd called her mommy.
They're in transit to. They're on their way to like a music festival. They're all
To a music festival,
Coachella or whatever.
or maybe they're following this trail of destruction.
They're following the trail of destruction.
But yeah, all the dust is cleared, so there are no explosions. All they see is like lots of footprints and like cool stuff.
They're going on a looting extravaganza.
They're like, look at this thing. Somebody just left this here. It's like a busted mirror. Yoink.
Oh, is that how they happen upon? I can't remember even what I brought it up for. If we incorporate it into anything, but I brought up those the con men from Pinocchio.
Oh yeah.
The cat and the fox or whatever they are.
Yeah.
Do Tucker and Todd run into some like old fashioned con men who like swindle them into looting for them or something like that? Say, boys, there's a town up over the hill.
Do Tucker and Todd need to be swindled into looting, or do they need to be swindled out of the loot they've collected?
Oh, that's interesting.
Because I'm pretty sure you don't need to encourage these guys to go start like rooting through and picking up cool stuff.
Oh, that's what it. So out of the dust cloud. So what you said there's the dust cloud or whatever. There's the fighting dust cloud that we seen transition from. Is it shows Tucker and Todd walking out of a dust cloud with a huge like they've got bundles of stuff that they've been looting out of these destroyed towns or whatever.
Do they walk out of the dust cloud, or do we like see it moving in the distance and then we kind of just like back up from it, and there's Tucker and Todd kind of following behind it, going like, can you believe these people just left all this stuff out here?
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah,
It's like
that's better.
There's like a broken chair leg. Look at this cool stick.
Yeah, so we're walking with it all like bundled up under our arms, like piled up in huge, like inordinate, like 7 foot tall piles.
Yeah,
Stacked in front of our hands.
it kind of looks like that scene from Disney's Hercules when he was carrying the wagon and all that on his back.
Yeah, exactly. We're carrying piles of stuff like that. So
Yeah,
it
there's
includes
just way
like
too
there's
much
like
stuff.
a doghouse with a dog in it.
Yeah, and the dog has stolen stuff too.
It's Muttley. He's like giggling to himself.
Yeah. How does it's just kind of like a wheeze.
Yeah.
Yes, which means Dick Dastardly can't be far away.
Oh, of course not. And then
Or was that Snidely Whiplash? In my brain, those are the same character.
oh, wait, I think Snidely Whiplash is what he's called in the Toontown Races, but Dick Dastardly is what he's called in Rocky and Bullwinkle.
Well, they're two different characters, kind of.
Are they though?
Yeah, they must be.
Snidely Whiplash is a fictional character who showed up in Dudley Do Right. Snidely Whiplash. And who's Dick Dastardly?
He was in the Wacky Races.
Okay. Oh, okay. It's the other way around. They seem so similar.
That's because they're the same character. They're not, but they're the exact same archetype that's been refined all the way down into the mustache twirling villain guy in a coat.
Yeah, I guess so.
So they're the same dude, created by different people for different shows, but they're both the same guy. And yeah, Muttley is the foil to Dick Dastardly. First guess, best guess. He was with Dick Dastardly.
Okay. But see, because Which one is which? Because doesn't Whiplash sound like he'd be the one who was driving around in the races?
It should have been, but I'm gonna assume the Whiplash had more to do with just like his egregious mustache.
Yeah, I guess so.
Although Dick Dastardly is no slouch in that department. You can tell that they're both like majority shareholders in mustache cream companies.
Well, in that case, is that the con man that swindles them out of their stuff then? Or is that
I think if we do that, Snidely Whiplash can scam them, and then Dick Dastardly needs to come by and scam him. And they can do the Spider-Man point at each other.
Oh, I like that.
You.
Do they do the full three point Mexican standoff? It's who was one of the real life versions? Wasn't there a Brendan Fraser Dudley Do Right?
Oh shit! It was Brendan Fraser.
Cast Alfred Molina as Snidely Whiplash. That's funny. Eric
was?
Idle is Kim J. Darling.
Alfred Molina. I think I liked him better with mechanical arms.
As the Doc Hawk. Regis
Yeah.
Philbin as himself. What a funny cast.
Remember when Regis Philbin was the thing? And he was allowed to just be in movies as himself? He hosted a show and now he was suddenly a star?
Yeah, I don't know where he came from.
As far as I know, he was just kind of birthed in the backstage at Who Wants to Be a Millionaire.
He got his television star serving as a page for The Tonight Show in the 50s. He got his first network television exposure as Joey Bishop's sidekick on The Joey Bishop Show. Holy shit. My mom used to watch live with Regis and Kathy Lee. And I remember that show, it ended up being Regis and Kelly Ripa. But that show started in 1988.
That is long before Who Wants to Be a Millionaire.
Yeah.
Which was the first thing I'm still pretty sure that's the first thing he's ever done, even though that doesn't chronologically fit with Earth's real timeline. I think that's the first thing he did, and he went back in time and did those other things.
Oh, let's say that is what he did. Okay, well, Regis Philbin is now in the Tucker and Todd universe for no reason.
Whatever. He's in lots of stuff for no reason.
I'm excited to figure out how to do an impression of him, because I think my impression is just going to be Anthony Cumia's impression of Regis Philbin.
Yeah, it'll be your impression of Anthony doing an impression of Regis.
Well, it's gonna have to be like this. Joy, Gilman.
Okay. It's kind of like Regis and Joe Pesci had a kid.
Probably.
Pray to Pesci.
I always do. What were we gonna? What was all this about?
We had Tucker and Todd looting
Whiplash.
everything that was left in the wake of all this. They've got a big pile of loot.
They can't believe it. Get a load of all this loot.
Yeah, all this cool stuff. There's like a goldfish bowl with a goldfish in it still, but it's actually like a Feed Me Seymour kind of goldfish.
Oh, cool. There's just a whole bunch of cool stuff. There's Poseidon's trident.
Yeah. Look at this, like trident.
That's not a trident. That's a dinglehopper.
There's lots of opportunities for just like, because all of these ravaged places that could have had all kinds of weird cultural artifacts out of time, just now strewn about the floor.
Oh, the Holy Grail.
The Ark of the Covenant.
Yeah, they're a matching set.
They come as a set. We're ripping off Indiana Jones already, so they might as well make an appearance.
Yeah, the Martha Stewart Old Testament collection.
I think it's an opportunity for Snidely Whiplash and Dick Dastardly to look in the Ark of the Covenant and melt.
That's good.
Yeah, after they rip off the boys, they're like, now to go through our ill-gotten gains.
That's fun. Instead of a skeleton underneath, they have step one, when you see people draw and they draw just the kind of like the general like shape.
Oh, you mean like a wireframe, basically.
The guidelines, the sketch, the original skeleton sketch or whatever.
Yeah.
It's that thing that's inside.
On the other hand, they could melt but not die, and they're like,
they're just stuck melted.
Yeah, they're like, I thought I would die, but no, I guess this is just me now.
They look like what are the waiting room in Beetlejuice?
Yeah.
Are these melted things?
they're just they're just ruined. These guys look like a melted candle.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, so they don't die. They're just gross now.
Do they run away crying then? They look at each other and they. How do we get rid of them once they've melted? How does that work?
They probably look at each other and scream and run in opposite directions.
Or
And
it's
then
just the old-fashioned scream and faint?
that is also an option, especially because now that they're partially melted, they can just kind of fall into their own puddles.
Yeah.
And then that's an opportunity for the camera to catch up with Tucker and Todd.
Tucker and Todd now with nothing.
Yeah, they've lost most of their loot. What did they trade it for? They traded it for something. Maybe they did trade it for a monkey's paw.
A monkey's paw or some form of transportation.
Uh
Oh, is it Dick Dastardly? It's his fucking Wacky Town Races
oh,
mobile.
yeah.
So that we can catch up with that, with whatever. Are we catching up with the dust cloud? What's going on now, actually?
We're following the trail of loot. And we're like, if it's let's assume that the loot they find just continues to get cooler as they
Mm.
travel along it, which means they're incentivized to follow it all the way. If they get that car, fuck, that's a good deal. They didn't get swindled. That was a fair deal. If they get that car, I just looked at it.
So is the no? I need to look it up too.
It's awesome. They're keeping it forever if they get it.
Oh yeah, that's sick.
That after the reset, they still have it. Where'd you guys get that?
Yeah, that's canonical. We don't even need a spaceship anymore. What a fin.
Yeah. Hanna-Barbera is going to sue us.
Okay, but I do like that as it cuts up, we catch up with Tucker and Todd in the mobile, and they're laughing. That's we catch up with them. They're laughing. Ah, what a sucker! Like what we are the obvious winners here.
And ultimately, we actually are because we're not melted. I mean, sure, we didn't get to keep Poseidon's Trident, but we don't even know how to use it.
Plus, now that we have a vehicle, we can use it to carry. We can catch up with wherever those looters are going. There's more where that came from.
Yeah, there's more stuff.
Yeah.
And now we've got a trunk.
Does this thing have a trunk? It has a frunk, maybe.
It's got whatever. It's got a little bit of room, and we can strap stuff to the roof if we have to. Maybe the car was actually a cardboard cutout, and we were fooled. we go to try to get over. We try to get into it, and the cardboard cutout falls over, and it's like a tricycle. And then it's a Dumb and Dumber scene where we're just one of us is riding bitch.
That's kind of fun as well.
But if we can have that car, that would be fun.
I mean, I prefer that. Why not have the
I-
car?
I
I mean, we
would.
can have it and we can crash it.
Yeah, it is. The idea of us getting scammed is funny, but we do kind of need to get motoring along.
I mean, okay. I mean, that is okay. That could be the joke then. So we're like, okay, how do we get this thing started? We're like hitting random buttons. Try that one. Try that one. Try that one. And this could be an opportunity for a bunch of like random, like go gadget gags of random things that the car is able to do when you hit the wrong button. But finally, you hit a button
Oh
and
yeah,
it just like
caltrops out the back.
yeah,
A great big boxing glove on a spring comes out the front.
yeah.
Oh, that'd be an opportunity to actually punch something too. All the wipers and sirens and stuff goes on. The car turns into like a Transformers like bipedal robot.
All of the things. Oh yeah, a gag where it like compacts down into some bizarre small shape or configuration, and you can just hear a muffled screaming from inside, and then
He squeezes down into like a USB stick.
yeah, and then it expands back to normal, and we just like are just traumatized and all bent up inside.
Yeah, traumatized, just wide-eyed and trembling.
Our tours are all, our clothes are all torn.
Yeah, but we're otherwise in physically fine shape. We're just like freaked out.
Okay, try that one. And this replaces, rather than us like stumbling in while everybody's arguing, this is where we hit the rocket booster button and like it boosts us so fast that as the camera's watching us, we like disappear from that frame. It's like abnormally, inhumanly fast as we're launched out of the frame. And then it cuts back to the scene where the crew and the doppelgangers are arguing, and the sound of us like flying through, we rocket into the tomb.
Oh yeah, I was thinking that not only do we zoom off, we need to actually take off into the air. This thing makes use of its fins and it starts flapping.
Yeah, we just arc launched.
Yeah, so we go up and we come down right on the roof of that thing, and it's like everybody's fighting in there, and they hear the whistle for no reason, because obviously they wouldn't, but this is our world, so we decide they do. And then they hear the crash and the bang, and they're like, "Do you guys hear that?" Because there's probably multiple levels for us to crash through, so we've got to. They hear the first crash as we come through the exterior roof, and then we're gonna come through the ceiling moments later, right above them.
Yeah. Do we crash into the room they're in, or through the door into the tomb, or whatever?
I think we crash into the room they're in through the ceiling. I think the car gets stuck hanging partway down, and we fall out of it. We did kind of decide that everybody was too busy with each other to notice us.
Right. But if we crash through 2 layers of this tomb, would they not notice that?
They definitely would. Maybe they're stupid and they don't notice. Hello, and guys, too busy fighting.
Oh, do we actually walk over to them and do that thing like when a time freezes thing? We walk up and we wave in front of their eyes like hello, but they're still arguing.
Yeah, they're all just doing their fight. Okay,
we look at each other and shrug.
Yeah, not only do we get to actually crash the party, but they still don't notice us. So we'd shrug and we're like, "Hey, what's this?" And we go look at the wall. Oh, that's kind of neat. What do you suppose this does? Push starts the pressure plate starts moving in, and then we both go for a tumble into the door that opens only for a moment.
And so, are we going to wrap this up now with them discovering this MacGuffin, or do we cut away now to catch up with some Bezolbub and that crew?
I suppose we can go visit Bezolbub. I suppose they're going to be bringing a report of their successful capture of the WAP to Bezolbub.
Oh, right, because Bridges Bridges is reporting back. It worked. We did it.
We also did leave one thing unresolved that I just now remember.
What's that?
Annabelle and a few others are in the outside to extract BS prowling.
Oh, what was the state of that? They were in the outside? How did they get there?
They had got... Oh, they just...
Oh, with Elrond?
Elrond had just wizarded them over there.
Right.
Did like a dumb ritual dance and stuff.
Did they do you remember where they were wizarded to? Was it like the village where BS Prowling was?
They were on the outskirts of BS Prowling's village, which is currently cordoned off with gnome police tape. They encountered gnome cop Colin Farrell.
Oh.
who had whipped out a billy stick, and he was preparing to smack Annabelle. And we had the screen go to black with the idea that later we would resume that scene with that gnome cop unconscious with like Tweety birds floating around his head because he just drew a billy stick on a ruthless space pirate who kicked his ass.
Okay. So that's where we resume then? Is with this guy passed out and Tweety birds floating?
I think it's an opportunity for us to have Elrond bring a report back to Bezolbub saying, this mission is successful, and then Bezolbub will say, excellent. Tell me, what's your progress on the extraction mission? And then that's our opportunity to, we just kind of nod in Bezolbub's direction and then move on to that scene where the Colin Farrell gnome wakes up.
Oh, so we preface it with current time and then set up a flashback? Yeah. Okay. In which they're telling the narrative, and I mean maybe that's how it can speed through that narrative a little bit. Is he can be doing voiceover of this happened and then this happened.
Oh, interesting.
As they can do a bit of are they extracting her since the cops are there? Are they going to do a bit of like a heist thing? Did we do a heist before? Did that ever end up working? Oh yeah, it was at Mount Poon, right?
Yeah, we tried.
Right.
We tried and failed so bad. I think we did it twice. I think we did it twice in one mission, and both times failed. So what'll be happening this time is everybody else on the team will be trying to kind of infiltrate and otherwise like distract or like sabotage things and try to more or less do Mission Impossible style kind of rescue and extraction, while Annabelle will just shoot her way in.
Do we need to actually do all of that whole thing, or can it just be Elrond is now here reporting to Bezolbub that it was successful, she's here, and then she walks through the door? Do we need to recount the whole escapade of how it happened?
It was just to give Annabelle something to do.
Hmm.
But I'm fine with just having it made clear that Gnome Cop Colin Farrell had zero chance.
I mean, I guess that was sort of implied, though. Does it need to be caught up with? Was it worth catching up with? Is it worth going back? Annabelle, something to do. So so we're just giving her a shooting scene. It feels like it's not worth it to me.
Maybe not. Just it just would have been like the rest of the team hanging back and planning and be like, all right, and then we'll go do this. And then when that happens, then you'll go do this. And as they're planning, Annabelle's already kicking in the front door.
Okay, that could work. So they're coming up with that plan over the slumped over, passed out body of the Colin Farrell.
Yeah.
And then that gets interrupted with she cuts through. Okay, and then that can cut back to Elrond giving the report where he's like, and then you could say it went a little sideways.
It didn't go exactly as planned.
Yeah.
But they were successful. Yeah, Annabelle kicking in the door and then starting to just shoot is an opportunity for them to immediately snap back to Elrond when he's like when Bezolbub asks him how it went.
And so does Bezolbub kind of like you can dispense with theatrics, like kind of like, is she here or not?
Yeah, wrap it up. Is she here or not? Yes, my lord.
Did you acquire the right or no?
Yes, my lord.
Elrond's a creep. Does Elrond Hubbard? I think I already asked. Does he look like Hugo Weaving or does he look like Elrond Hubbard?
I think he looks like Grima Wormtongue. I think he should.
Oh,
I think
okay.
he should probably look like Elrond Hubbard, but dressed as Elrond,
I mean,
complete with fake elf ears, and then talk like Grima Wormtongue.
yeah, with his
'Cause
captain's hat on.
Yeah, Bezolbub already has that like Saruman energy.
I've never actually thought about, and every now and then I've considered what he'll end up looking like. Will he end up looking
Yeah,
mostly like
he's
Jeff
a younger.
Bezos?
He's gonna have to be some kind of mix between Bezos and Christopher Lee.
Yeah.
Because I think if anybody was gonna play the devil, it should be Christopher Lee.
Oh, definitely. I think that at one point we went through a list of like who would be the best devil of people who have played devils, and I think Christopher Lee was what we landed on, actually.
He's just so good at being a grandiose villain.
I agree.
The grandeur.
Okay.
So yes, they wheel. Yeah, I guess they bring BS Prowling out. Bring
they
her.
wheel her in. Is
Bring
she like
her.
she's on a dolly like Hannibal?
Yeah. I was thinking something like that. Like she's encased in the whatever they put Han
Carbonite?
Solo in. Yeah.
Yeah. It's funny, like she's dangerous to them.
Maybe she's been in the outside too long, and so it's for her own safety as well as ours.
That's pretty funny.
Oh man, I totally would have made Han Solo into a table.
I'm sure that's something you can find out there.
You can. I've seen it.
Okay. I was trying to figure out how like they didn't actually have a carbonite cast, but they did have a gigantic Han Solo in carbonite ice cube tray, and so she's like in a gigantic slab of ice.
The carbonite cast was too expensive,
Yeah.
so we got a novelty ice cube tray.
Something like that.
We poured her in with some Jello.
Oh, and then Elrond is like, he's like grumbling to himself. He's like, honestly, seems like more of a Scientology thing, but whatever.
the most subtle reference we've made all year. And so they reveal BS Prowling encased in her whatever she's in. It'll be some time before she acclimates to this reality. But now we've got her, and we can wheel her out with dramatic music, and then that's probably an opportunity for us to finally return to Tucker and Todd for the last scene which would be them kind of opening their eyes in this central hidden chamber where they're going to find some kind of MacGuffin.
We have never come up with what the MacGuffin actually is.
No, we've
It
kind of hinted at what it thematically represents, but for all I know, it's a Wendy's menu.
because it is directly related to the restore point, right? It has something to do. It's going to stop the restore point.
It probably is the restore point, so destroying it will prevent the process. Because when you create a restore point, you create a special file on your computer.
Right.
This is where that file is located, I suppose.
That makes sense. This is the restore point.
Yeah, it's kept in a secure location in what is basically the source code, the firmware.
Right.
Which means that reality can be backed up even if reality is totally destroyed, because it's separate from reality.
So was it our plot is so complex my brain can't even comprehend it. Are the alphabetic order are trying to destroy it
Yes.
so they can start over, and the Chrono wants to keep it the way it is.
Yeah, they're trying to destroy the restore point so that things will continue to destabilize and the outside will basically take over.
Right. Okay, that makes sense.
It will bleed into reality and just infect it and make the outside everything, which is good for the alphabetical order and it's good for the doppelgangers.
So since we have found our way, ultimately, the crew are trying to protect it. Are they trying to take it somewhere? But we are waking. I'm just trying to sort things out. We are waking up.
I don't
They're
know
trying
if they
to-
have a plan besides protect it. If they have to move it somewhere else for like put protective custody it, then they would do that. But the idea is to just get here first and stop anybody else from getting to it. And they can't get to it either. Only Tucker and Todd can now, apparently.
Oh, something just occurred to me. Since it is a restore point, do they back up the restore point into Craig?
Oh, I totally forgot that we brought a computer with us.
Yeah. He's not with Tucker and Todd. He is with the crew.
Yes, but they're on the other side of us from a door.
Yeah.
One that Tucker and Todd can open from the inside.
I think we should end on some sort of cliffhanger, so I don't think they should open the door now. This episode should end with
the cliffhanger should, or I suppose the peak of this should actually just be the reveal of what the restore file looks like. They kind of open their eyes, get up, they're like, "Are you okay?" "Yeah, I'm fine." And then something starts casting a golden light on them because it turns out that this is Marcellus Wallace's briefcase.
Of course. I was gonna you know how it's interesting that the current, like, I say Gen Z all the time, but even younger than whatever that is, like children right now know that if they want to like save a file or save a game or whatever, the button that they're going to press looks like a floppy disk, even though they've never touched or seen an actual floppy disk.
Mm-hmm.
That's a super interesting thing to me. Would
Yeah,
the save file
almost the concept of the floppy disk is entirely retired, but it has become the poster child for saving anything. That's wild.
So does this original restore point, since it's sort of like anachronistic, it's been around forever, it precedes antiquity or whatever, does it look like a floppy disk that's been around forever?
And not only does it look like a floppy disk, I think it should look like a video game icon where it's actually like when you see an objective in like a 90s, early 2000s video game, or it's just like a large thing, it's floating and it's kind of slowly spinning.
Oh yeah, definitely.
It's like the rare icon. It's just
Yeah.
sitting there, floating up, radiating gold light, and it's just kind of spinning in place. And you're like, what the fuck is that? That's the save button, don't you know?
Everybody knows.
Yeah, they don't know they don't know what a floppy disk is. They just think it's the save button to them. Well, we're here to save the world, so we might as well click on it.
Oh, it is the save button. That's funny. Oh, that's so funny that we are literally saving the world. We're saving a copy of it.
Yeah. Although Tucker and Todd don't know that. They don't know anything.
No.
They don't know why they're here or how they got here. They were looking for cool loot, and you know what? A great big save button is the coolest loot they've ever seen. We're taking it.
Actually be funny if the chamber that they're in is like it's like a tomb, right? So they're looking around and they're more disappointed by like, oh, this place sucks. This is depressing.
There's no piles of gold treasure anywhere, or like great big ancient vases from antiquity. Pretty much the only thing in here is a pedestal with a floating floppy disk icon over it.
What is that? I don't know. They start pounding on the door. Let us out of here. They're eyeing it nervously over their shoulder.
This place sucks. But the final scene in this episode should probably them just looking on in awe. We'll be in the floppy disk's perspective for the first moment as Tucker and Todd look at it wide-eyed. Wow. They're like
Oh,
the aliens from Toy Story with the claw, the way they're like, oh.
maybe it actually starts out dark then. It's like dead and it's dark. It has no shine. But as they start like complaining and whining, it starts like warming up and lighting up and glowing.
Oh, it's in the presence of the chosen ones. It activates.
Yeah. And that's when they turn around and then, oh.
Whoa.
Bam, bam, bam.
Yeah, it's an opportunity. In fact, maybe we shouldn't even reveal the floppy disk. It would just like end on them going, whoa.
Oh, well, I mean, if it's in Marcellus Wallace's briefcase, it's the view from the back of the glow on their faces from the back of the briefcase.
Yeah. That's exactly what it should be. It should be the briefcase, and it opens up,
Click, click.
and then it just shines light on them, and they're like, whoa.
I like that. And then that can be how the next episode starts, like pick up directly from there.
Yeah, they get in, it's all dark. There's basically nothing around. Like, this place sucks, and they start looking for a way out. Then they hear a click. Then the briefcase opens, and a cascade of golden light bathes them. They turn around. Whoa, this place is awesome. And then credits. Bam! I'm almost a writer.
What would make it official?
Applause.
You
A
know,
laugh track.
I have
That way everybody knows when it's funny.
Oh, I can insert one at the end.
We need to insert a laugh track when Snidely Whiplash and Dick Dastardly point at each other. You.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
I want Jimmy Carr to do all my laugh tracks. I hope Jimmy never hears this. It's probably his least favorite joke to hear is somebody making fun of his laugh.
I like all jokes at Jimmy Carr's expense.
I'm sure he likes almost all of them except for the one about his laugh. He's probably heard that one so many times that it's just there's no edge left to it.
Did you watch any of I Literally Just Told You?
I don't believe so.
That's a pretty good. It's like a game show, quiz show, panel show. Why did I say panel? It's a game show, quiz show where they have two people. Oh, I guess it is a panel show. They have a panel of people who are making up questions about things that were just said on the show. So you're being quizzed on things that were just said like 5 minutes ago.
They love their panel shows.
They do. I mean, it's a format that works.
Yeah,
I love their panel shows.
So do I.
But I think that's the end of this podcast for this week, everybody.
Yeah, I think we did it, and I think we resolved all of our bits that we left undone before.
We snipped all our frayed knots.
Yes, we had more this time than we usually do, and I think my favorite one that we snipped was still the WAP.
It's a very funny payoff for something that's been in the works for literally a year.
Yeah, and it kept showing up in multiple episodes, and we just built it up for so much.
Yeah.
And then our intrepid heroes show up, and it's already gone. What?
Immediately, yeah, they missed it.
And then they have to do the Skeletor. What?
Oh, nah, I guess we can come back to that later. I was gonna say, did we catch up with them? Where do they go after? Now that it's gone, that's the last of them for this episode.
Yeah, that's just the last of them. They're like they probably just look at it. Oh, right. We leave them after they kick the voodoo stand.
Oh, never mind. We did come back to them because Jeff Bridges is the one giving the report. Oh no, too many people.
That was Elrond. That was Elrond
right.
giving the report. Jeff Bridges and Columbo probably ride off into the sunset bitterly.
Yeah.
They do the Skeletor what though? That's for sure.
I guess maybe Jeff Bridges could check in with Elrond because then Elrond task him with the mop.
They just leave. They're like, They're mad.
I was gonna say they could just be checking in on like a flip phone or something like that, and that's when it segues over to Elrond giving his good news and bad news. Bad news is
Oh,
the
otherwise, they're actually just regrouping because now they have to go and because it's not destroyed, it's captured.
right.
They want it destroyed.
Okay,
I guess their task isn't quite finished.
they have to hunt down because the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man like wandered off with it, right? So what? They got to go hunt it down now, chase it down.
Well, I mean, the alternative is that the literal devil is in control of this super monster.
Yeah,
But that's a kind of like a plot that we can tuck away for later.
sure.
For now,
always a fan of tucking.
for now, the WAP is out of commission. It's defeated.
Yeah, decommissioned is a good word for it.
Yeah, we can recommission it later, but
You
right
could
now
say it's on ice.
Yeah, just like BS Prowling.
She's on ice also, yeah.
And now, so is the cast.
Yeah, thanks everybody for joining us this week.
I hope it was 2 days better than it would have been.
Oh, we've been storing up rest experience.
Yeah.
I do think there was a bunch of good gags in this one that weren't in the last one.
Oh, yeah.
Anyways, thanks for tuning in, everybody.
Yes, thank you to all who tune in, and to all who might tune in. And
Say
to
your
all,
name.
I am Tucker.
I'm Todd.
Say
This is
my
the Tucker
name.
Podcast. Say my name. Say my name. Good night, everybody. Bye.
You're goddamn right.
Slash. How do I do this? Slash leave.
Fuck Tucker. Tucker sucks. And fuck Tucker's friend,